I'm in Salad, and I saw Spirited Away. It is directed by Hayao Miyazaki.
Correct.
And I have Trixie the Golden Witch here.
Hey, I'm here too.
Hello. And Spirited Away, I watched it, and I was like, whoa, why have I not seen this movie before?
It is the only anime movie that ever won Best Animated Picture at the Oscars, the Academy Awards.
It definitely deserved that. I really like the beginning. Okay, let's just get right into
We're
it.
doing it.
If you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This review, sponsored by my Linktree. If you haven't checked that out, you can check it out above. Now, on with the review. Wow, the movie starts with some traveling. We got some people traveling in a car. It's a really cool car. It looks really comfy. I like the little decorations in this cool little comfy car.
Are you talking about like all the flowers and stuff they have inside of it?
Yeah, and you have this like girl. She's crawling around the car, and I'm like, oh man, I remember crawling around the car on road trips and stuff, and
yeah,
I was
know
like,
what you mean.
Aw, heckin' yeah, here we go. So then after we have that,
Well, so just to clarify, they're not on a road trip. They're actually moving into their new house.
exactly.
So they're on like their last trip. All the rest of their stuff has already arrived at the new place. So they're like, they're moving in, and Chihiro is not happy about it. She's like in the back seat, like grumbling, like, "All my friends are gone."
Yeah.
And I assume that all those flowers are like housewarming gifts they got. Like there was some party, right before they took off, and now they're on their way to the new place.
You know what's a great housewarming gift?
What?
Food.
I agree.
Best housewarming gift ever has to be delicious nachos. 7 layer bean nachos. Just dip them chips in them. Very, very fun.
I think the chips count as one of the layers, right?
It's just a bunch of beans.
Or is that just the dip?
And,
It's
like,
just 7 layers of
guacamole
dip?
and stuff.
Okay.
And then with the guacamole, separately you buy a separate bag of chips, and then you open the chips, you put them. You have to get the scoops because you gotta get a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's none of that in this movie. There's no.
There's food. There's a lot of food. There's no nachos though.
You know what? I was trying to find a cookbook. Right. I went to a bookstore once.
This is true. We went to the bookstore. They had a Spirited Away cookbook. Or no, it was
it was
Studio Ghibli cookbook. And they only had like one Spirited Away recipe, and like there's a lot of food in this movie.
There was a tuna thing, and then there was a little like dumpling filled thing. I was interested to try that, but that's a lot of prep work.
I would bet that because there are dumplings in this movie, that there are some Americans, it's aimed at a younger audience, some Americans who maybe had never seen a dumpling before this movie. I'm not sure if I had ever actually even seen like that sort of Chinese style dumpling until seeing Spirited Away when I was like 12.
Yeah, I saw it at a festival once, but I was not expecting it in this movie, and once I saw what's her name?
You saw the steamed buns, not Spirited Away, at a festival, just to clarify, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. It was a little confusing. Just
steam buns, that's what they're called? That's what they're called? I've been wanting.
Or shopao or like there's a few different names for them, but yeah,
I've been wanting these buns. I love these buns, okay? I've wanted these so much.
Yeah, look up steamed buns.
Steamed buns?
Yeah, you cook them with steam.
Oh my goodness, Dave put it up here. They're so delicious. I had them once. It was a delicious treat, but let's go on with the review.
I have to tell you, so Mint, right after you saw this movie, you told me that the lesson you learned from it was don't take detours, but you've already taken a huge detour in this review. But the movie does start with the family. They they're driving along. They sort of come to a tunnel
Yeah.
with a rock in front of it, so they can't drive through it. And the dad is just the most gung-ho dude in the world. He's like, we gotta check this out. We just need to know what's on the other side of this mysterious tunnel.
Yeah, at that point, I was like, oh, why are you going into that tunnel?
He's just like that.
I understand that. It's a mysterious tunnel. Personally, I would go down it too.
I get the feeling, the family's moving and all. They seem like very adventurous people. Chihiro maybe not as much as the parents. She's like, why are we doing this? Like the whole way. She's like, what is going on? Why are we walking into this tunnel? And it leads to like an abandoned amusement park, basically. That's sort of the parents are very nostalgic about the place. Like I have to assume that it was a style of place that existed in Japan in like the 60s or something that doesn't exist as much anymore, because like in the movie, just contextually, the parents recognize it, but Chihiro doesn't. But yeah, they're just in like a weird abandoned mysterious place, and they just are really about it.
Yeah, I really enjoy the little journey that they go on when they do go into the tunnel, though, because it's like, okay, now we're going to go to this little, what looks to appear to be like this cool little area of town. Like, I like that little passageway.
Kind of.
Main Street, yeah. I like the Main Street aspect. It's like, oh, they're like little exploring the little environment, which is cool. I mean,
it is a long time this movie spends of just the characters like walking around this abandoned town.
You know what's interesting about this movie?
What is?
Well, I believe this movie very interesting, like that it literally covers every step of the way.
It does do that.
Like, I feel like I'm on a journey while watching this movie.
I'm glad you picked up on that, because I have a video kind of explaining, a video called How Hayao Miyazaki Maps a Setting, and I go over the scene early on. So basically they get into town, Chihiro's parents find all this delicious looking food, and they just start eating, and she can't get them to stop. So she like kind of wanders off. As dusk settles, all of a sudden spirits come to life all over town. It's full of ghosts and shit. She finds her parents have turned into pigs.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what do I do? And then this little long-haired boy shows up and like grabs her, and he's like, follow me. And there's a scene that I talked about in this video that's just like nonstop. Like every single shot, you watch them enter the frame and you watch them leave the frame, and it's just following them all the way through town, across this bridge to this bathhouse. And the scene sort of ends with him telling her to go like around the side of the bathhouse and get in through this like lower entrance.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
like
have
a
clear
like a
mental
whole
image
maze. Like it looks. I really like the infrastructure. I like the world.
Yes, it's very well developed.
Yes, I feel so like in the world when I watch this movie. I feel like I'm on a journey, on an exploration. I already said that, but I just feel like I have to emphasize it. Like
you are one with Chihiro.
Yes, I like this movie a lot. If you can't tell already, I like it a lot.
So do you have any other thoughts about that sort of sequence I just described of her meeting Haku for the first time? What did you think when he pulled her aside and told her what to do?
So I really liked the little curtain at the beginning, like the little curtain animation. I love the animation too. So like the also.
When you say the curtain, are you talking about when he like disguises, like makes her invisible or whatever?
Yeah,
okay.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh boy, them pigs. Them pigs. They eat a lot of food. They turn into pigs.
Yes.
And now it's time to, follow where the parents are. We gotta find the parents. The parents.
Yes.
Do you know them personally?
I met them once at a bingo.
You met them once at a bingo.
Yes, they won bingo and they're really excited.
Yeah, and I really like the large quantities of food, but the little chick,
Chihiro.
The
little chick. She's like 10.
Chihiro.
The little girl, Chihiro.
Chihiro.
Yeah.
Okay. Chihiro has to go find the parents, and Chihiro stumbles upon a bathhouse.
Yes. Well, she's led there by a boy.
Led there by a boy.
The boy Haku. He says he guides her across the bridge. He's like, you have to hold your breath so nobody can see you. But then she breathes anyways. And then a frog sees her, and he stops the frog by putting him in a bubble. And then he guides Chihiro across the rest of the bridge, and they stop in like a little maze, and he throws a thing over her, and he's like, you need to go around this building and sneak in through the bottom door. And so she goes around the building and she sneaks in through the bottom door, and she meets the coal man, Kamaji. Do you remember the Kamaji scene?
The Kamaji scene.
She meets the guy in the boiler room.
Yes.
He's got a big mustache like Dr. Wily.
Yes,
Mega
I
Man.
remember him. He has a bunch of arms.
Yes, he's got a bunch of arms and they can like extend.
What is he doing with those arms? He's
So-
got so many of them.
He's got all these like drawers. I'm not like, I guess he's doing the scents for the baths or whatever. Like basically, you know, she's in this room with this guy. He's just like constantly working. He's constantly stoking the fire and like grabbing shit to throw into the fire with his long extendo arms.
Is it like coal? Is it coal?
He has coal in there as well.
Okay.
But the coal is carried to him by these little like dust mites. Like these.
Oh yeah, they're so cute. I like them.
These little, I guess they're just little coal balls or
Coal balls.
they lift up the coal, they bring it to the fire, and she starts like trying to help one of them, but in doing so and not realizing that the coals are heavy as balls,
Destroys one of them, right?
I think so. I think she sees one that it's so heavy that it falls on him and it like disperses him, but they can just like reform.
Okay. Yeah.
But then when she carries one of them, all of them are like, "Oh, you're gonna carry it? Well, fuck you, mine too." And so they all start piling it at her.
Oh yeah. So like she can do all the labor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, oh yeah. That's hilarious. It's like, I hope she's like, I don't know, selective about people she helps out. But I really like her good nature.
Yeah.
It's basically like, give them an inch, they take a mile. Like, a mile of pounds.
A mile of pounds.
A mile of
pounds worth of coal.
Yeah, a mile of pounds worth of coal. So, I really like the little room that we're in, the little boiler plate. I really like how there's just so much, like, you know, like the little, like, just the dynamic environment.
Yes.
I really like the dynamic environment. I feel like
they look like real places. They look like places that actually exist and that you could just go visit.
Also, I feel like so much of it is drawn. It's just like drawn. Like, what I mean by that,
like they show it from so many angles that you see it like all the way. Yeah,
exactly.
It's very uncommon, especially with animation, to like try. Like usually they're just kind of trying to draw enough to tell the story and not like trying to make it a real place that like you could physically imagine your way around. And like with this movie, I mean, you don't see every single room of the bathhouse or whatever, but anywhere that you do see, you could definitely map out or like draw from memory. Like, I know how to get from here to here. I can tell you how to get from the boiler room to Yubaba's office because that's the next scene.
I felt like that while I was watching this film, I was able to like mentally map out where I am in the building. Like, I was physically there, you know, and most movies, I do not understand where I'm at all at most times, except for, like, good movies.
Yeah.
You know,
I do think this is a trait of a good movie, is to make it feel more like a place that you understand.
I also really like after we get Shiri.
Chihiro. Like Cheerios. Cheerios. We should just rename her Cheerios.
Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios in my mouth. Anyway, so Cheerio. I really like how Cheerio is very, like, open to the idea of working, and people bully her while she's working, treat her like a little underdog.
Yeah. It's a lot of what this movie's about. There's so I'll tell you thematically, this movie was inspired by Hayao Miyazaki, the director, being well, you know Yubaba, the witch who she ends up working for, the old lady at the top of the building. She is based on Miyazaki himself. Because working for Ghibli is like working for the bathhouse, in that it's very strict. You're expected to do good work. You're treated kind of like a slave, and you know, and your name is taken away and everything. Like he basically said that, like, young people would come to work for Ghibli, and not be expecting it to be so brutal.
Yeah.
And so he, inspired by, like, some of the kids, like some of his friends who have, like, young daughters and stuff around Chihiro's age, he wanted to make a movie about, like, a girl that age having to be forced to work in an environment like Ghibli, and, like, what they could do to become a good employee, or, like, to become respectable as a person. So yeah, basically, you know, Chihiro, she's meant to be, like, the modern young person, but thrust into, like, the most intensive, old school, like, hard ass environment possible. So, you know, she ends up at this bathhouse, and when she's in the boiler room, the guy basically is like, you need to get a job if you want to be here. And so this woman comes, oh god, I don't remember her name, but she comes and guides Chihiro through the bathhouse.
She's nice.
She's the nicest one. And even it's funny because when I watched this as a kid, I thought she was kind of, like, mean, because I was the type of kid Chihiro is, which is, you know, never worked a day in my life, never had no discipline, no sort of, like,
I'm the opposite, baby. Yeah,
you came into this as a adult who has had to do some kind of work before.
Yeah, so I appreciate this film. I love the little wrinkly old face lady.
Oh yes, Yubaba. She's the one who runs. She runs the whole thing. Yeah, after Chihiro, she finds her way to Yubaba. Do you remember the big smelly radish man that she was trapped in the elevator with?
Yeah.
He was a nasty man.
He was very nasty. I didn't like him. You know, I'm just like, no turnips.
He put off bad vibes.
What, he was a turnip?
Something like that. He's some kind of radish or a turnip man.
No turnips. Turn up the elevator. Turn up the heat.
So she makes it to Yubaba. Yubaba's like, you have to sign this contract. And when she signs the contract, she takes her name away. She steals Chihiro's name and she renames her Sen. And basically, so, like, Spirited Away it's got a lot of, like, weird magic rules that a lot of which come from Japanese folklore, and, like,
which I am not familiar with, by the way.
Even I'm not super familiar with, like, a lot of what this movie is pulling from, because it's also, it's very loose about all this. It's not, like, trying to be accurate to Japanese folklore either. It's just, like, using a lot of that inspiration. So, but in Japanese folklore, basically, if you know someone's name, or if you, like, have their name written down and given to you, I guess, then it means you, like, own a part of their spirit, or something, and when you are without your name, you will gradually forget who you are. This is also a big theme of the show Natsume's Book of Friends, which is about a guy like trying to give back names to demons that lost their name.
Yeah.
So in this movie, Chihiro had her name taken away, and as such, she will slowly forget like who she is and what she's about.
Yeah, I liked how I was like, whoa, man, girl. I really like how you kind of like forget. And I like when I was watching this, I'm like, will I forget if I'm ever in this situation? That's what I thought about.
Right. Would I forget my parents? Would I just go along with it? Because, yeah, there's like, I can't remember the very first scene of her working for the bathhouse. The midsection of this movie it's sort of dreamlike in that it just kind of bounces between lots of scenes of her like getting used to life being here. Like,
right.
She's there for what seems like weeks, cleaning, just scrubbing the floors, scrubbing the baths, helping to prep stuff, working with like the maid staff of all these like lesser demons who, they're all they do is work. They don't really have a lifestyle. They just work,
in a bathhouse like that, you gotta work. You got some stinky people.
There's some stinky motherfuckers in this bathhouse in this movie.
Man, some of those stinky people need to be doubly washed, especially this monster man.
You're thinking of the big swamp man, the big swamp monster man?
Yeah.
Who's
big
just like
oozy goozy boy.
Oozy goozy. He is an oozy goozy guy, if you will. So big sludge comes in, and like Bob is like, this guy's big money. You need to deal with this. Chihiro sort of put to the test because she can barely even like keep her footing with all the like water swamp this guy's pulling out.
I'm just like, are they using water as like some sort of power washer to rinse off, or just dumping a bunch of water on him as like that, just like a drenching a bunch of water with stuff in it?
It seems like there's some kind of charms or something they're putting in the water, because they send up a request to, I guess, Kamaji to like give them a certain type of water or something, and like part of the difficulty she's having is like getting the special thing to the guy. I believe she ends up feeding him some kind of like magic pearl she was given by Haku or something like that. She feeds something to the monster that ends up making all of the sludge go out of it, and it turns out it was like a river or something.
What?
Like the monster was like it was like the spirit of a lake or a river or something that they like was very polluted, and so they had
that's okay. Yeah, I remember that. I was just like, the way you described it was funny.
Well, that's the weird thing. Like Japanese folklore is very like everything has a spirit inside of it. So there's like every concept has a god of that concept. Like there's a god of like lakes, but then there's also like a god that is of that specific lake, A god
of that specific lake.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit later,
gods.
But like the reveal, the twist in this movie is that Haku himself is a river.
Yeah, I really like that part, but
yes.
I want to save that for later.
This is sort of setting up for it though, that we meet this lake spirit Haku had given. I think Haku gave her the thing that she uses to cure the lake spirit, and he probably knew about that because he's also a body of water. Wow,
I can't believe it.
And then at some point, Haku takes Chihiro aside through like a cornfield, and he's telling her like, you have to remember your parents because in your name, or because if you forget, and you'll never get it all back. And then he gives her a piece of bread, and she cries. Which
was fun.
It's very, I don't know why this happens so much in anime, but there are like hundreds of scenes of characters who like start eating something and then just burst into tears.
Is it because the food is so good?
I assume it's like an emotional release thing. Like like you can't help but feel something when you eat, because you're like, oh right, it's food. I love food.
Food is great.
It
I
is.
mean, I agree with them. So, you know, food time. There's this Cheerio.
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 Box of Cheerios. Her first name's Boxa and her last name is Cheerios.
Box of Cheerio.
Yeah.
All right, box of Cheerios is, you know, she's working, and then she lets a face in, and that face.
No face even.
No face.
His name is No Face.
His name is No Face.
But he has a face. I know what you mean. He's called No Face, but funnily enough, pretty much all he's got is a face.
Dave, put him here, please.
Yeah, I guess it's a mask. So you could say that he's got no face because there's a mask over his face. But when he starts well, I guess, yeah, his mouth is underneath the mask, right? When he starts talking later.
Yeah, it's like a little demon face, and I love this.
Yeah, you love No Face.
Yeah, I love the little, like, the once he starts.
Would you have let him in?
No.
No. That was so Chihiro's mistake is that at some point she sees this no-faced person outside and invites him in, and like a vampire, I guess, like it seems like he couldn't have entered the bathhouse without her invitation, but because she did this, now he's there.
He's like a vampire.
Yeah.
But like eating people
whole, yeah, instead of just their blood or some part of them.
Trixie.
Yes.
Who would win in a fight? No Face? Ghost Face.
How many ghost faces are there in this gambit?
This is Ghostface 7. Plot
Ghostface
revealed.
7.
You've heard it here first, folks.
Oh,
Plot
shit,
reveal of
Scream
7 spoilers. We have No Face, Ghostface.
No Face, Ghostface.
But, you know, there's multiple killers in Scream
Yes.
6. I have a review of it here.
Okay.
Full review, but multiple killers.
Multiple killers.
Many
versus-
multiple killers.
So I think Ghostface is just regular people with knives.
Yes.
No Face is a supernatural monster that eats everything in sight. However, he's not that smart. And Ghostface is usually like 3 or 4 relatively smart people working together. So I think they could maybe concoct some kind of plan to beat No Face.
Yeah, so he just wants food. He's like a zombie, kind of, you know? So
Well, he just wants stuff.
he just wants,
he wants to be cool, and he wants stuff. He wants people to feed him because, for whatever reason, No Face is able to just produce gold from his body. Like
I love that part.
He's just constantly dishing out gold, and so basically everybody at the bathhouse will do whatever he wants because he has an infinite amount of money to give him. But he uses that to just be a huge monster.
You know
pig
what?
Man.
It's revealed that he like has the gold and it's made out of dirt or something.
Yes,
what was that?
The gold eventually reveals itself to be false. It's just like like mud pie or something.
Mud
like
pie.
that.
Ew.
It's just some gross and
That's gross.
I
didn't want to know that.
So
Thanks.
thinking back on it, I'm actually not sure how much. So there's the frog that I mentioned earlier that Haku put into the bubble that had noticed Chihiro. He's got a goofy voice in the English dub. No Face initially doesn't talk. He just goes but then he eats the frog and he gains the frog's voice. And so it's kind of unclear.
Kind of eerie.
It might be that he picked up the frog's personality and that's why he wants all the stuff he wants. Like that he is just acting, because eventually he throws up everything, and the very last thing he throws up is the frog.
Yeah.
And then he follows Chihiro on this sort of journey, and he's acting very humble the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's like he's like once Cheerio is very nice to this person, even though everyone else is like hating on this river spirit. I shouldn't call it a person, it's a river spirit. It's, you know, lonely. And you know what the loneliness is?
What is that?
The no face.
You think the no face is the loneliness of the river spirit?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's an interesting... I don't know if I've ever heard that interpretation before.
First theory.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta explain it to you.
So you think the two of them are directly connected?
Yes. Because you have the little gunk of the guy, and now he's now rivering. And then you have the little no face eating people and then spilling it out. And then it's like, oh, it's a little friend. It needs a little friend. And how that connects in any way is that it's like both releasing gunk and then they return to their pure spirits. What do you think of that?
I definitely think there's a strong thematic connection between everything in this movie of being that dirtiness versus cleanliness, sort of like, because I mean obviously it's about a bathhouse, but like everybody comes in dirty and is cleansed by the spirit of how Chihiro works really hard.
Have you ever been to a bathhouse where
No,
they are fighting?
I haven't even been to a bathhouse, so that's why I said no before you were done.
Have you been to a place where they're fighting? Would you
place where they're fighting?
Would you want Ghostface or No Face to win? And we have to clear this up real quick, as I just remembered it.
We one or the other to win? I would. I think probably No Face, because Ghostface is always a bad guy, and No Face is not like evil necessarily. He's reformed by the end of the movie.
Yeah, do you think he would eat them now?
No.
Now that they're reformed, now that he's reformed,
he wouldn't eat everybody now. He's a good guy now.
He's a good guy. Would you want to pet them?
Would I want to pet No Face?
Yes.
Or would he want to pet other people?
Both questions, please.
I don't want to pet No Face. He's not an animal.
Why not?
Do you want to pet No Face?
Yeah, he's kind of looks nice and smooth. I like them textures.
You want to be friends with No Face?
Kind of scary, not gonna lie. But I'm kind of.
What about the giant baby?
The giant baby's weird. That whole. I like it. I like it. It kind of weirded me out. You know what I mean?
So Yubaba's got a giant baby.
Big baby.
And she meets the baby at some point. In the English dub, she's voiced by the baby, rather. He's voiced by Tara Strong.
Is this the new boss baby?
It is at first he's acting like a real brat baby. He's being a little. I have a book called Baby Stabber you can find on my channel, YGG Studio, and this baby was asking for it. Now, granted, Baby Stabber only has a knife for regular babies. I don't know if he has a giant knife for giant babies, but...
them babies need them giant knives. They have to run with them.
They have to run with the knives? This giant baby...
To train.
This giant baby, he's not training with a giant knife. He's sitting around in a room made of pillows, being a little brat, and Chihiro basically tells him, like, hey, you kind of suck. Like, you're the worst baby I've ever met. And he's like, that's not cool.
Yeah, you gotta learn to be a better person.
Yes.
You know what I learned how... You want to know how I learned to be the autistic with boobs?
Yeah. I mean, did you have to learn anything for that?
Yes, I had to learn a lot. I'll let you know. Well, okay. So, I had dreams where people came to my house and taught me how to socialize.
Mm.
And, Barack Obama was there once.
In one of your dreams?
In one of my dreams. He was dancing. He was recording. He was recording me on the rooftop.
Okay. Barack Obama was recording you on the rooftop of
my house.
Your house.
At the time. And my brothers, it was just one at the point. It was my adopted brother. He bowling on the rooftop.
Bowling.
On the rooftop.
You know, Barack Obama actually removed the bowling alley from the White House to replace it with a basketball.
Why?
He likes basketball
Good.
and not bowling.
Bowling is not fun.
Not really. They have alcohol. When you go as an adult, it's more fun.
Okay. I shall do that then.
Okay. There's no bowling in Spirited Away.
There is not any bowling.
There is actually, though, a scene. There's the heads that roll around. You know what I'm talking about?
Them rolling around heads.
The little 3 green little heads that roll around.
I like them.
They're weird. I think they're supposed to be babysitting the baby or something.
Babysitting the baby? Why wouldn't you be adult sitting it?
I think
Sit as an adult.
It is still a baby, even though it's big. It's still a baby.
It's so big. What type of baby is this? Is this a giantess baby?
It's a witch's baby. Maybe she had it with a giant. We never meet the dad. We don't know.
You don't meet the baby daddy?
No, we never meet the baby daddy.
No baby daddy here, folks.
But
you heard it here first.
The 3 heads, I think it turned into like a little bird, and the baby gets turned into a little fat mouse.
Big old fat mouse. I like the little animals in this.
And Haku gets like really injured because he's a dragon.
Yeah, it's not fun seeing everyone suffer.
You didn't like seeing the dragon get all bloody?
I felt pain.
It's a pretty fucked up scene for a kids movie.
It's wild. It's wacky. It's fun. It's fine and fun.
Is it fun and fine to see the dragon bleeding?
Well, it's like we have to see the little results of the what the dragon is trying to do. So the dragon has to rest. Bunch of dragon resting. You like the dragon resting? You like seeing the dragon sleep?
He's in a lot of pain. I don't know if he's necessarily even asleep so much as just like dying.
Yeah, I also like the part where Cheerio rides flies on the back of the dragon.
That's a little bit later, I believe.
Yes.
But the dragon gets all cut up by all these fucking paper guys, and he's like dying, and she's like, I gotta fucking help you. And then she goes to meet the good witch.
The good witch.
She takes
Are you one of the good witches? Real quick, I have to clarify.
No.
Okay.
No.
The train. I like the trains. I like trains.
Yes, you like trains?
Yeah.
You like trains? Chihiro gets on a train with No Face, the crow made out of the heads, and the mouse who's made out of the baby.
Yeah, you gotta go on a train.
They have to go on a long train trip.
Yeah, big train.
Out through the water. It's a water train.
I like the water. Nice, pretty animation there.
The train's like an inch underwater.
It's terrifying.
I think it's pretty.
It's pretty, but it's terrifying.
What is the scary part about the water train for you?
Well, if it's an inch underwater, what about if hydroplanes?
When it comes to spirit trains, I kind of figure that the rules are just different.
Okay.
And that I'm going to trust it because it's magic. Now, if somebody tells me I know it's a magic train, you're thinking it's going to be safe, but that shit breaks down every single day that I ride it. I'm probably not going to ride that train. But, they take the train out to Yubaba's sister's house.
Yeah, it's nice train.
And then she's like the good witch, at least by comparison.
Yeah, it's cool how we have this woman. I'm like, oh, this woman kind of everyone hates. Mm-hmm. And then now we have the twin, basically, is here, and it's better than her. In how she treats people, she's more like hospitalities. Yeah. Not there though.
You have to look at it though as well that the good witch, the sister, she's like by herself in the middle of nowhere. It was like tending to her own little house. She doesn't have like a massive bathhouse with hundreds of employees that's servicing like water gods to try to get all their pollution out and shit. So, you know, I don't know if the good witch necessarily like hates Yubaba, but she definitely thinks that she's like kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And so she's like, Chihiro, I'm gonna send you back with some shit that you're gonna use to mess with Yubaba.
Yeah.
And you're gonna really mess with her head. And then so she goes back and basically challenges Yubaba, and she's like, you gotta give me back my parents.
Ooh, yeah. I like that part. Now we're at the part where we have we're at the point where it's like, oh well, what will happen if she doesn't get her parents? That's what I'm thinking of. I'm at this point thinking, oh, will she like walk out with her parents? Of course she won't. So, you know, challenge. And I also really like the part where now it's time to challenge your titties. It's a face off.
The challenge Yubaba gives to Chihiro is, can you tell which pigs are your parents? And she's got her parents with like 40 other pigs. And she's like,
yeah, it's a face off.
Can you tell which pigs?
Yeah, I like the little pigs. They're really hard to tell, but there's some sort of vibe. You got to take the face off and look into the spirit.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what. Yeah, Chihiro just like, she just looks at all the pigs and she's like, those ones, that's them. And they're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Right? And also, Yubaba's baby's like, Mom, you're not cool. So yeah, she's got her parents. She fucking beat Yubaba. She's the victor. And then Haku gives her like a nice little air ride on the dragon, and he's like, I'm a lake, a river.
Yeah, I like that part. I talked about that earlier. I like that little vroom. I like the little wiggles, little wiggly in the air.
You like that he's a wiggly dragon?
I like it, little wiggles.
I like that he's a big snaky man.
He's a snaky boy.
He's a river.
I like that. And then, you know,
a Russian
now
river.
we have like the Cheerios is going away, getting out of this place. She's escaping.
He tells her, do not turn around.
Do not turn around.
No matter what, you will turn into a pillar of fucking salt if you turn around.
Yeah, wow. She learned the value of hard work, and also never be going to random tunnels.
Yes.
Never going to random tunnels. This is a tunnel PSA. Hey, don't go into random tunnels. You don't know what you'll find there. Maybe you'll enter some random magical gardens that are not good for the health.
Do you know what PSA stands for?
Public service announcement. Yes.
No. Penis sex ass.
Seener, avocado.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. She's got her parents back. She beat Yubaba. They didn't look back. They walked all the way to the car, and they drove off. And the parents are none the wiser. And I don't think Chihiro remembers anything either. I think she's like memory
that's
wiped.
weird. No, you gotta learn the thing. This is like Coraline, I believe.
I think she keeps the lessons, within.
Good.
She still has the understandings. She just doesn't have the memory of how she got those understandings.
That's cool. I like that part. I like how she
magic and shit.
She wholly learns her the value of working hard and stuff like that. I also like how I get to see her entire progression, just like throughout the entire journey, is seeing her learn and graft and adapt. This movie made me feel comfy. This is a comfy movie. Do you like the comfiness of the movie? I felt like I was on a couch when watching this movie, like a couch experience.
Were you on a couch?
Yes.
Okay. That's probably contributed something to it.
Good catch vibes, I also like the colors. The colors made me happy, made me smile, made me go, yeah.
It's got a very nice aesthetic.
I got this Kigurumi the same day that I watched it.
Alright. Cute.
It was great.
Kigu.
I watched it in this Kigurumi. It was great.
Wow.
So, I also like how the parents, they're just going to stay their same ways. And it's like, oh boy, I don't want to be them parents. I don't want to be like staying in their ways. That sounds not delicious, not nutritious for the soul, mind, body, spirit. Do you agree?
Next time Chihiro won't be there and they'll just be stuck as pigs forever.
Good. They should. I believe that. They should just stay there and eat food and then be slaughtered to the lambs.
Hey, I want to stay there and eat food.
Yeah, that's a good place.
No,
I don't want to be
lambs or whatever thing. Lambs eating pigs. This is a really fucked world this movie takes place in.
Yeah, it's kind of mysterious. Final thoughts are good. I like how I give this movie a high score. It's I would give this movie a solid 8.9 out of 10.
8.9. Yeah, I'd probably give it like a strong 9 to a 10. It's
And strong 9
good.
to a 10.
It's hard to find a real complaint with.
I don't want I have to change my score. So I give this movie a solid 9 point. No, it's a 10. It's a 10. I don't.
A 10.
It's not.
Now
I don't
it's a
see.
10.
I don't see any flaws with it.
You
now
said
that
it was
I
an
think
8.9. Now it's
you
a
know
10.
that was not a good answer.
Yeah, it's a movie that like the more times you see it, the more you think about it, you'll be like, okay, oh yeah, and that's like a good movie.
If you like this review, let me know if you want to watch more reviews with Trixie and if we should make more. I'm trying to make more with her. If you like these, let me know in the comments. Also, if you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. You can also like, comment, subscribe, share this video with everyone you know. The ultimate goal of this channel is for me to become an expert movie reviewer, so if I haven't reviewed it on the channel, there's a chance I haven't even seen it at all. If you'd like to fast track a movie review request, you can do that at patreon.com/ASEPresents. $20 a month for one movie review per 1 month. Or $3 for a month for early how to draw Pokemons. You can do that at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you would like to help support the daily grindiness, go to this link tree for ways you can help support the daily grindiness. So go here. Trixie's at goldenwitch.substack.com. And I'll see y'all later, my Sal croutons and bacon bits.